here at Explore with Teresa Sharpe.
Hey everybody.
Teresa, if you could introduce yourself to everybody, tell them where you live or what shop you work at.
So I'm Teresa Sharpe. On Instagram, I'm Teresa Sharpe Art, and I work at Unkindness Art in Richmond, Virginia.
You're the co-owner of the shop?
Yes, I co-own the shop with Aaron Chan. So the shop is Unkindness Art. We're in Richmond. Aaron and I co-own it together. We started it in 2015. So we're coming up on 3 years of being open. We currently have William Voles, William Van, Jesse Ray, Faith, who goes by Vitriol on Instagram, and we also have an apprentice, Ashley, and we're about to have Lindsay Hall from Ohio working for us as well. So we've got a pretty full shop right now. But it's been an amazing journey, opening, building, putting together this group of artists and, creating like a presence in Richmond, because I'm definitely not from there. I'm from Indiana, and Aaron's from New Zealand. So neither one of us really were natives to the area, but we came in and we love the area, we love the city, and it's very artsy, a lot of like art culture. There's a very good art college there, so a lot of support for that kind of community, and it was an easy decision to make to move there and just try to start something.
Since Aaron's from New Zealand, how did you guys kind of connect together?
I sold her a cat. Yeah. So Aaron, at the time, like I have Sphinx cats, the hairless cats, and I had a litter of kittens, and she got like tagged in some photos or something, because when I started Instagram, like I think my first few posts were just like cats, and she like got tagged in it, and she was moving to the States and wanted another cat. She currently had like a Devon or something. She wanted another one, and somebody tagged her in it, and so she's like, oh yeah, I totally want one. And we talked, and she was like, oh well, I won't be there until December. This is like August or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'll hold on to a cat, because I looked at her Instagram and I was like, holy shit, this girl's fucking amazing at tattooing. Like, she's a pretty big name. She'd already been like traveling around the world quite a bit, and so I was like, yeah, I'll hold on to one of these guys for you. You can come and get it in December or whatever. And like when we got closer to the date, I was like, hey, if you want, like when you're here, you can come do a guest spot at Studio 13, because where I worked at the time. And I was like, we'd love to have you, tattoo there if you want. And she had no idea that I tattooed, like at all. She just thought I was this lady that sold cats, and so she was just like, do you have a shop? And I was like, yeah, I work at Studio 13. And she was like, oh, and then like I think she found like Facebook, and then looked through my work there, and she was like, oh, you're a tattoo artist. I was like, yeah, and she was like, oh, cool. And so like she had no fucking clue that I tattooed.
I was wondering how she ended up in Richmond.
Well, she got married. She'd been married, and then she moved, and the plan was to open a shop in Richmond at some point, and things just kind of, life happens, things got crazy, and it just didn't happen right away. And so she bought a cat. We became friends. We started doing conventions together. And eventually, like, I just kind of, like, at my career, like, I think it was about 8 years in, and I was like, I'm ready for the next step. Like, I've learned everything I can learn from Studio 13. They're an amazing group of people, but I was ready to kind of become an owner, become, like, a decider in the decisions happening in the studio, and I wanted to kind of build a space that really, like, inspired me. And I wanted to do it with somebody else, like, it's more fun with friends, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so I wanted to do it with somebody else that kind of shared that same work mentality. And Aaron and I, we both traveled a lot. We both put a lot of time into developing who we are as artists. And, that girl, like, she had definitely, like, when I met her, it was, like, the beginning of, like, a crazy time in her life. And despite all the struggles and stresses that she went through, for those first few years that she lived in the States, she never once stopped putting out amazing tattoos. Like, she just, put day after day amazing work up on Instagram. I'd see her at conventions, and she'd throw something down on, and win tattoo of the day every fucking day. And I was like, if I'm going to open a place with somebody, I want it to be with somebody with a work ethic like that.
Yeah, she consistently puts out great work. Yeah. Your entire shop does.
I love my dudes.
We're huge fans of your shop. I think you guys have one of the best shops in the country.
It takes a lot to do what we do. It's a lot of time drawing outside of work. Like Aaron and I both spend 10-hour days at the shop, at least 4 to 5 days a week, and then we go home and we draw. And when we're not in the shop, we're usually working on stuff for the shop. And we wanted to build a space that was something that we didn't have, early on. Like, I love Studio 13, but when I first started there, a lot of the artists that I worked with didn't want to travel. They didn't want to be a part of the convention circuit. They were happy just doing the 9 to 5 walk-in tattoos and local clientele. And Aaron and I have never really been happy with that. We love travel. We like to be inspired. We like to meet new artists all the time. And we wanted to build a space that kind of provided that for younger artists as well, guys that were coming into the field, that wanted to travel, wanted to learn more, wanted to meet new artists. And so, we put together a space that fosters that, takes people to conventions. Like, we try to take our shop to conventions as much as we can. We try to bring guest artists to the shop as much as we can. And Richmond was such a good place for us because we have an airport that's 15 minutes from the shop, and we're on the East Coast, so we've got the whole East Coast that's right there. I mean, driving is not hard up and down that whole space. And, it's really like, it's built like a really good situation for us. And I feel like Aaron and I have both kind of rediscovered our love of tattooing and rediscovered our love of just making art in general. And it's just been good. It's been amazing.
So we've known Tattoo Snobs, known you and Kelly for probably 6 years. And it's been very interesting because we've watched you guys go from, not being well known at all. You guys were just working at shops. Kelly was working at Off the Map, and you were working at, I think, Studio 13 in 2012. I remember meeting you at Hell City in like 2012 when Timmy was tattooing me, because I remember you talking to Timmy. We've watched you go from that to going on TV to opening your own shop, traveling the world. How crazy has your life? Do you imagine your life in 2012, what your life is now?
No, I didn't get into tattooing thinking that those were goals. When I started tattooing, I just wanted a job that allowed me to do artwork every day and get paid to do it. I wanted something I could pay my bills and not hate my life, and I went to college for art. I spent 4 years doing that, graduated, and I just wanted a job that was art related that I enjoyed. And so when I got in, I had no fantasy that I was going to travel the world, no fantasy that I was ever going to be. I didn't watch a lot of the TV, like the tattoo shows like Miami Ink or LA or any of that stuff. I knew about them, but I wasn't invested in them at all. And as far as conventions went, I had been to, the very first convention I ever went to was Gary, Indiana. And it was scary, and it was nobody was there, and it was just local shops, nobody from, Spain or Italy or even from California, it was local, and it was just grungy and hardcore. I think I was in high school, I probably shouldn't have been there, but it was, I didn't know that these things were options when I started tattooing. And so when I got into it, and it was just trying to do cool stuff with cool people. I met Kelly at Off the Map, and I wanted, we just both clicked. We both had the same goals. We both wanted to just do cool tattoos. And then when we found out that we knew enough people around the country that we could go and hang out with them and turn it into a tour.
Did that tour around the country.
Yeah, and that was that was a game changer for us, because we didn't realize until we sat down. We're like, oh, well, Mike DeVries, and I know, so and so, and I know Guy Atchison, I know, and so we were able to make these stops all throughout the country and just go and tattoo at these different places. And then it was from there we were let's go to France and do a convention in Evian. Did that, then we're let's go to Liverpool. We got invited, Kelly got an invite there, and she was I can bring a person, and I was fuck, I'll go, and it just kind of spiraled into this traveling, tattooing, meeting new artists all over the world. And the show thing, that was totally unexpected. I had no desire to do one, but I got asked to do it, and I was you know what? There's not a lot of girls that go on and just fucking, do tattoos. A lot of them would go on and they'd be dramatic, or, it was more of a drama thing or a sex appeal thing, and I was I don't want any of that. I just want to go on. I want to do good tattoos. I want to show people that you could be a fucking strong female artist in this world, and do it. And I was so stoked when Kelly got on and did hers, because I mean, she's the same way. She's just a fucking good artist, you know, like. And at that point, like, the goal wasn't like, I want to be a strong female artist. I just want to be a fucking artist. You know, I don't care that it's guys versus girls. Just want to be a fucking amazing artist. It shouldn't matter about gender.
No, I agree.
You know? And so that's where we pushed it, and it's where we continue to push it. And Aaron and I mean, that's what we do in our shop. We don't care one way or the other. It's just about the artwork. It's about doing what you love and putting out good work every day.
So you're presenting tomorrow at Explore in St. Louis. Can you give a brief summary on what your presentation's about and what you're focusing on?
So I generally focus on how to transition from doing your everyday, like, walk-in tattoos, your one-session tattoos, or your, you know, maybe two-session tattoos, to doing the larger scale work. And I try to focus on, like, the design elements of that, like how even designing something very small for a small piece can become a large tattoo if the client's willing. I talk a little bit about how to gain some trust from your clients. I talk a little bit about just, like, how to prepare for large tattoos, how to work into that flow of, like, doing large scale work all the time. And I've tried to, I actually put together for this particular Explorer, I had 3 projects that I started about a week before I came out for the St. Louis convention. They were all one-day tattoos, and I go from start to finish on them. It's got the, you know, the sketch, the line work, and then I go into stenciling, I go into the color studies, and I go into the actual, like, finished product tattoo and all that stuff. Like, I posted about it. They were 3 crow tattoos. I've not posted any of the finished products because those will actually be revealed here at Explorer. And, you know, I just wanted to kind of provide people with a very step-by-step process for how I go about doing a tattoo, and hopefully how they can adapt that to what they do.
How often, I mean, I think we all are familiar with your large-scale pieces. I think you do a lot of full torsos and full backs. How often do you do single-shot tattoos?
Not often. I actually really kind of only do the single-shot tattoos at conventions now. Yeah. Conventions or guest spots, and I very rarely do guest spots at this point because I'm traveling so much for conventions. So I try to only book your one-session tattoos at the conventions because I know it's hard for me to guarantee that I'll be back there. It's hard for them to guarantee they can come to me. So I try to do, you know, like an upper arm, a forearm, a thigh piece, a lower leg. I try not to start back pieces or chest pieces if I can help it. Occasionally I break those rules, but so I try to bring that into this Explorer because there's definitely still, I mean, a ton of people here that are doing smaller pieces, and so I want to just kind of show them that it's like, yeah, I do this every day. I prefer to do these large scale pieces, but you can take those same concepts from large scale or the same concepts from small scale. It's all the same. Like, it's all the same idea. It's all the same process for me, whether it's small or big. I go through the same steps every day and trying to, like, bring that to people.
Do you have to do portfolio reviews at 4:10?
Possibly.
We're going to speed this up, ask like 3 or 4 more questions, and then we'll wrap this up.
Sounds good.
You design with tablet, probably, most likely. That's been a big discussion.
Yeah, so that's like a thing that I've been kind of talking about a lot at the shop, a lot with Aaron, where, like, I have an iPad, I have a Wacom at home, one of the big, like, desktop ones, and for me, they are a good step in the process, but they are not the end-all be-all for me. I like them as, like, if I'm having a hard time maybe, like, getting something down, like a thumbnail or something like that, they kind of will start the process, or they'll be, like, the middle step in the process, but the final process for me, like the final drawing before I actually go to put it on skin is usually done on paper. Okay. Yeah, so, and I usually bring, for the Explorers, I always kind of try to bring examples of that with me for people to kind of tangibly see, look at, feel, touch. It's like, I want you guys to see that even though these are great tools, and for some people, from start to finish, that's their tool. For me, it's still not. Like, I like aspects of it, but I don't think it's everything, and I think that a lot of artists need to realize that what we do isn't just this one thing. You know, you should always be exploring all avenues of creation in tattooing. Like, I still paint, I still draw, I still do marker things, I still, you know, sit down and do oil paintings. Like, And the Wacom is just another tool that I've had to learn how to use over the years. But again, it's like that's not the end goal for me. I don't want to just be a digital artist. So,
for people who are attending Explore, what do you hope that they take from this to try to integrate into their career?
Honestly, I mean, if nothing else happens, I hope that everybody networks and finds somebody that they can kind of connect with that will inspire them to push harder in their own shops. Because I think the one thing, when I was young and, a year into tattooing and going to, like, I wasn't tattooing at conventions. I was just attending them and wanting to meet artists that I wanted to get tattooed by, wanting to watch guys tattoo that I thought were amazing. And the whole point of it was to go and meet people, to introduce yourself, to shake hands with somebody and be a face that they remember the next time they see you, and hopefully sit down and get a portfolio review, or just like watch them tattoo and be like, oh, that's how they do that. Like, if nothing else, meet somebody, connect with somebody, and maybe create your own tour,
I have one other question, I can't remember it. I know a lot of people on Instagram know that you have a crow.
Yes.
How and why and what's it like living with a crow?
So I found out at a convention that you could have them as pets. I didn't know that was the case. And like, obviously I like birds. Like, I do a lot of bird related tattoos and shit like that. But I was like, I'll never own a parrot. It's a lot of work. They bond to one person. They get depressed. Like, I can't handle that kind of like emotional responsibility, so I didn't want any kind of bird like that. And I have cats, so I didn't want like tiny birds, But when I found out you could have a crow, I was like, I mean, I'm covered in crow tattoos. Yep. Like, I have crow tattoo here from Justin Harmon, crow tattoo here from Aaron Chance. I got a leg sleeve of crow tattoos from Kelly, Curtis, Russ Abbott, Jeff Bensminger. Like, I just wanted to make, like, I was like, fuck, this is my thing. And I found out you could actually have one as a pet. And then I found a breeder in the States that bred African pied crows. They're not endangered. They make great pets. They are a lot of fucking work. But I was like, fuck. I was like, I have to do this. And so I got Eric the Crow. I think it's been 4 years now that I've had him. And he came to me as a fledgling. He could barely fly around. I had to hand feed him. Me and my sister basically like kind of brought him up, and I had to build a cage because they don't fucking sell crow-sized cages anywhere. And so I like in my garage, like fucking like 10 o'clock at night, building a crow cage. And then like I had a friend of mine who builds furniture, and I missioned him to build me a really nice indoor crow cage. So I have this huge, it's like 8 feet tall, it's like 7 feet wide, it's a corner cage.
It's a lot more work.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's like plexiglass, and it's got its own like finished bottom. Like, it's really nice. It's a really nice like gothic style crow cage that sits in my house. And Eric, I mean, he's out and about. He doesn't live in the cage. If I'm home, he's out. Yeah. Yep, and he's around the house. He finds shit that you guys leave everywhere. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, he brings me things that he finds, and bakes for food. Yeah. Oh yeah, him and the cat, and like he's as big as my cats are. So
yeah. Seen pictures
any animosity that I think the cats maybe, like if they were going to hunt a bird, it would be a much smaller bird. Yeah. They don't seem very interested in actually taking him on fully. Like, they're just like, yeah, he does his own thing, and like,
you're going to let him go.
Yeah, and he kind of leaves them alone. Like, they just all coexist, and they seem totally fine with it.
You probably have the most unique pet of anybody I know.
Yeah, I think so, maybe. Yeah.
So we're going to wrap this up here because I know you got to run. For the rest of 2018, what do you have planned? If people are interested in tattooed by you, how should they go about it? And can you give a shout out for your Instagram, shop, and website?
Absolutely. Okay, so starting from the top. Conventions for the rest of 2018. I will be in London at the Tobacco Decks Convention happening at the end of September. Literally a week after that, I will be in Barcelona, Spain for the convention happening there. A week after that, I will be in Venice at their tattoo conventions, very small. A week after that, I will be in Evian for their convention. It's towards the middle to end of October. So basically from the end of September to like the almost end of October, I will be in Europe doing tattoos. So if anybody wants to get tattooed by me, for those conventions, please submit those emails via my website, which is teresasharpeart.com/contact. You can get all like, it'll send you back a thing that I'm not booking. I will read your emails. If it's something I'm interested in doing, I will definitely get back to you guys. And then I think that's it for 2018 as far as conventions are concerned, unless we have an Explorer coming up, which I've heard there might be one.
They just announced it.
In September, I believe. Yeah,
September 17th
in California, right?
In Los Angeles.
Yep, 17th to 19th, Los Angeles Explorer. So I will probably be at that as well. I'm not sure how I'm going to swing all these things. My kid's going to hate me. He's going to forget that I exist.
I can't imagine.
He's 14 and full of sass. Other than that, what else? So my Instagram handle is Teresa Sharpe Art. You can find all my newest tattoo works there. I don't do a lot on Facebook anymore these days just because the algorithms are crazy. And then for the shop, it's Unkindness Art on Instagram, unkindnessart.com for the website. My website, teresasharpeart.com, and all of our merch and stuff is also through the unkindnessart.com. If you want any prints from any of the people that work for me, it's all on there. Cool.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Snob loves your guys' work. We love your shop. You guys kill it constantly.
Like I said, Tattoo Snob has brought attention to so many up-and-coming artists over the years. It's one of the reasons I follow, and I hope everybody continues to follow Tattoo Snob for that reason. It's nonstop art all the time.
Hey, we appreciate the love from you.
Anytime, man.
Thank you very much.